What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Hezbollah is vowing to retaliate, accusing Israel of targeting its network of pagers in a coordinated attack that's left 9 people dead and nearly 3,000 injured. The group is calling it the biggest security breach in its war with Israel and has confirmed its fighters are among the dead. Rosie Greninger reports. A warning, some viewers might find these images distressing.
Unsuspecting shoppers browse through a supermarket in Lebanese capital Beirut when an explosion sends one man to the ground in pain. And this wasn't an isolated scene. Through the southern suburbs of Lebanon, chaos, as thousands are rushed to hospital, injured when handheld pagers used by Hezbollah militants detonated in their hundreds, all at the same time. The wave of blasts claimed the lives of 9 people, including that of an 8-year-old child.
حتى الآن سجلت غرفة العمليات الطوارئ الصحية بوزارة الصحة العامة أكثر من 2800 جريح. حالة تقريبا 200 منهم هي حالة حرجة استوجبت إما إجراء عمليات جراحية أو إدخال على أقسام العناية الفائقة. وسجل كذلك سقوط عدد من الشهداء. العدد لهلا 8 شهداء.
That death toll is expected to rise. Lebanese state media reported the pager devices used by Hezbollah members to communicate with each other exploded in several of the militant group's strongholds, with civilians caught in the crossfire. Hezbollah officials say this attack is the biggest security breach they've experienced in nearly a year of conflict with Israel. Both Hezbollah and Lebanon place blame on the neighbouring country for the attack, and the militant group has vowed retaliation.
أن هذا العدو الغادر والمجرم سينال بالتأكيد قصاصه العادل على هذا العدوان الآثم من حيث يحتسب ومن حيث لا يحتسب والله على ما نقول شهيد.
Israel has not commented. It's unknown how these pages were infiltrated, but some cybersecurity analysts suggest they could have been tampered with during the manufacturing and shipping process, allowing for a small explosive device to be planted on their batteries before delivery.
It does appear that the pagers that exploded were acquired relatively recently by Hezbollah, and I would not be surprised if they were tampered with prior to their having been delivered.
Hezbollah officials say they're launching a major investigation into the attack, but it's largely disabled the group's communication channels. This is widely being seen as a major escalation that could lead to a wider war in the Middle East, after months of rising tensions. Hamas ally Hezbollah and Israel have traded daily blows since the outbreak of war in Gaza on October 7th.
An attack of this scale, this breadth, would seem to suggest that Israel was either baiting Hezbollah into forcing the issue, or into starting it itself. I mean, there is no better way to start a full-blown conflict than to take, 10–20% of the entire fighting force of Hezbollah off the battlefield and destroy the command and control and communications infrastructure.
The US has called for a diplomatic solution, adding the importance of securing a ceasefire deal in settling tensions. But as Lebanon reels from this latest attack on its soil, fear is spreading across the Middle East, anticipating Hezbollah's response and what further escalation could mean for the region. James Lin and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
The pages that exploded in Lebanon reportedly have a link to Taiwan. A Lebanese security source has told Reuters that they were made by Taiwanese manufacturer Gov't, but the company is disputing that. Louise Watt is live for us outside the offices of the Taiwanese company in question. Louise, what has the company been saying?
Well, Gov't says that the pager at the center of all of this, the model AR924, which has its name stamped on it, it says it was not its product, but that it was made by a company in Europe, which has a license to use the Taiwanese brand. Now, in the last few minutes, Gov't has said a little more. It's revealed that that company is based in Budapest, Hungary. It says it's called BAC Consulting, but it hasn't really given many more details other than that. Now, the company's founder earlier did speak to reporters here at the headquarters in New Taipei City. That's about a half-hour ride from downtown Taipei. This is what he said.
这个公司，有一个代理商在欧洲的一个代理商，他跟我们做3年，3年他代理我们所有的产品。那他后来他自己有做一个护驾器，他做这一支护驾器切我们公司的厂牌，每一台的部分有给我们一个这个 logo 的一个 brand 的费用。那基本上我们都有合约啦、合同啦那些东西，我们待会秀给你看。
Now, today, officials from Taiwan's economy ministry have been inside the company, as well as police officers that keep going backwards and forwards. And Taipei prosecutors now also say that they're investigating possible illegal activities related to national security. Now, Gov't Apollo's name was drawn into this when officials and security sources in Lebanon told various international media that Hezbollah had ordered more than 3,000 pagers from the company, and then they were received in Lebanon and distributed by Hezbollah to its members. Now, Hezbollah fighters were using pagers which receive text messages instead of smartphones because they wanted to avoid having their locations tracked. But explosives were hidden inside these pages. Now, the founder of Gov't Apollo says that this is embarrassing for the company to have its name drawn into it, and it says it's also a victim in this incident.
Thanks for that, Louise. That was Louise Watt live for us in New Taipei. A Chinese aircraft carrier group was spotted near Taiwan early on Wednesday. The Liaoning and other ships passed to the northeast of Taiwan and briefly breached Japan's contiguous waters near Yonaguni Island for the first time. These are waters just outside of Japan's territory. The carrier group's transit comes as a US Navy surveillance plane passed through the Taiwan Strait on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Taiwan's defense ministry detected 15 Chinese aircraft operating in Taiwan's air defense identification zone on Wednesday morning, 12 of which crossed the median line of the strait. Pedestrian priority zones could come to Taiwan's roads as soon as October. Drivers in those areas will have to slow down and follow other rules. As John Ventrius reports, it's a win for a growing pedestrian rights movement.
Close calls between drivers and pedestrians are a part of life in Taiwan. 2 years ago, CNN coined the phrase pedestrian hell to sum up the situation. And despite nationwide protests organized by a burgeoning pedestrian rights movement, there's still room for improvement. In the first half of this year, high-tech monitoring equipment placed at select crosswalks caught 3,600 accidents involving drivers and people on foot. But there is something being done. As early as October, Taiwan will roll out pedestrian priority zones on certain stretches of road. The speed limit in these zones will be 20 kilometers an hour. As with any new plan, public opinion is mixed.
对驾驶人是比较，他觉得会比较慢嘛，但是我觉得是 OK。
要看路段吧，有的路段应该不太方便。如果这样的话，如果说又是那种上下班时间的话，应该会挺塞的吧。
But officials are hopeful the zones will protect people on foot and remind drivers to pay attention. The new priority zones will come with teeth. Though a minor speeding infraction will only come with a $75 ticket, a major one could set drivers back $1,100, a serious chunk of the average monthly salary. The new system may not solve Taiwan's traffic woes, but it could serve as a wake-up call to drivers who don't yet take traffic laws seriously. Scott Huang and John Van Trieste in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
US Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has made his first public appearance since a second assassination attempt on him.
It's a dangerous business, however, being president. And I have to say that President Biden called me yesterday. It was very nice. We had a very nice conversation. I appreciated that he called about, what happened the other day. And today, a little while ago, I got a very nice call from Kamala. No, it was very nice.
Trump attended a campaign rally in Flint, Michigan, 2 days after a gunman was discovered near his Florida golf course. At the rally, Trump supporters cheered him on, but shared concerns over the rise of political violence in the country.
Yeah, I'm concerned for everyone's safety on both sides. The country is so divided right now, and both political parties are so divisive.
Taiwan's aging society means it relies more and more on foreign labor. And as other countries like Japan and South Korea face manpower problems of their own, competition is becoming stiff in one particular labor market, Vietnam. Joyce Tseng reports.
Getting trained to work overseas, these students in Hanoi are studying for a shot at a better salary and better life outside of Vietnam. Since the late 1990s, when the Southeast Asian country began exporting its labor to East Asia, Taiwan was the top destination for Vietnamese workers. It's a strong relationship that makes Vietnam Taiwan's second largest source of migrant labor, behind Indonesia. But now another competitor is trying to attract Vietnamese workers.
Trước đây thì số lượng thực tập sinh cũng như là kỹ sư và du học tại Việt Nam sang Nhật Bản thì chưa nhiều. Nhưng từ những năm 2016 trở lại đây thì số lượng thực tập sinh rồi du học và kỹ sư tại Việt Nam sang Nhật Bản rất nhiều.
Like Taiwan, Japan also faces a rapidly aging population, and Japanese human resources firms have rolled out new incentives like this technical training program to attract prospective Vietnamese workers. South Korea, another country with an aging population, has also been tapping Vietnam's labor market, increasing visa quotas for migrant workers. But for those who want to find work abroad quickly, Taiwan is still a preferred option.
因为韩国1年他们才考试一次嘛，日本的话他们就会要训练比较久，6个月，4到6个月才能去。台湾的话就比较快，1到2个月就可以入境的。
And Taiwan would like to keep migrant workers coming, particularly those from Vietnam, since they make up over 45% of the migrant manufacturing workforce and have the second largest share in the social welfare and caregiving sector. Last year, Taiwan launched its first one-stop service center for migrant workers, converting this 3-star hotel into a 500-bed training facility to help new arrivals settle in. The 3-day program only takes caregiving workers for now and teaches classes in multiple languages, including Vietnamese, on Taiwan's culture and legal system, with tips on what to do if they run into trouble. The center is also staffed with fellow workers from Vietnam who've already been living in Taiwan.
来这边可以有我们的同乡跟他们讲这个越南语，他们没有那么担心。
But Taiwan and Vietnam's partnership in labor hasn't always been smooth. In the early 2000s, Taiwan suspended working permits for Vietnamese caregivers because of a high rate of runaways. A decade since that ban was lifted, there's been a marked improvement in relations.
因为这样的一个关系所以其实两个国家合作是非常紧密。
With a serious manpower shortage looming over most of East Asia and the region's aging society, in the face of more competition from Tokyo and Seoul, Taipei is doing what it can to ensure Vietnamese workers continue to choose Taiwan. Chris Ma, Eason Chen, and Joyce Sun for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Financial Supervisory Commission has blocked the sale of one of the country's largest financial firms. Authorities say that the plan for CTBC to purchase Shin Kong Financial lacked proper planning and protection for shareholders. The decision now paves the way for Shin Kong to merge with another group, Taishin. Shareholders of each entity will hold a meeting on October 9th to approve that merger. The government is carefully monitoring the process. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out images of the Queen Classic Surf Festival in France. The event aims to highlight women and minorities in surfing. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.